You know that moment when you swipe your card and a tiny voice whispers, "Do you really need this?" That voice you ignore because buying feels good. It feels like control, like you're doing something for yourself, but deep down, it's just another box that ends up in the closet and another debt that sticks to next month's bill. I'm that voice, the one that tries to remind you. Money isn't just a tool, it's a choice. It's a decision that can build your future or break it. I'm Warren Buffett, but not the one on TV. I'm the Buffett that lives inside your head. You are making money decisions when you're choosing between instant pleasure and long-term peace. You're not alone. We all have that one financial habit quietly eating away at our lives. Maybe for you, it's impulse shopping. Maybe for someone else, it's borrowing for things they don't really need. Maybe it's just putting off investing because it feels like there's still time, but that habit is stealing a piece of your freedom every single day. I'm not here to lecture you, not here to say you messed up, because we all mess up, even me. But I want to remind you, every money decision has a story, a reason, a feeling behind it. And if you understand that feeling, you can control it. You can stop being its victim and start being the author of your own financial story. So let's start together, not with guilt, not with fear, but with awareness. Let's find that moment when your habit kicks in, that moment when you feel the urge to spend, to buy, to delay. That's the moment I show up in your mind and say, hold on, think second, because that moment is where change begins. Imagine this. You're standing in front of that shelf again, the one with the thing you don't need but kind of want. I walk in not through the door, but into your thoughts. I'm not angry, I'm not dramatic, I just raise an eyebrow, say, really, this again, and suddenly it's not just a shelf. It's a battlefield between your future and your impulse. You try to justify it. It's been a hard week, you deserve something nice. You'll figure out the money later. I get it. I've heard it all, I've said it all, but I lean in and ask, is this helping you or hurting you? Nope, in a judgmental way, just like a friend who's seen this movie before and knows how it ends. You pause, maybe for the first time in a long time, and that pause is powerful. It's not about the item anymore, about the pattern, the loop, the habit that's been running your wallet and your peace of mind. I'm not here to break you. I'm here to break the loop, to help you rewrite the script. We all have loops. Some are loud, some are quiet, some look like shopping, some look like procrastination, but they all do the same thing. They trade long-term gain for short-term comfort. I'm not against comfort. I just think you deserve the kind that lasts, the kind that doesn't come with regret. So I stand there in your mind, not as a billionaire, but as a mirror, and I ask you to look not at the price tag, but at the cost, the real cost, the emotional cost, the future cost, because that's the number that matters. You already know it. You've just been trained to ignore it. Let's rewind not to the store, but to the feeling. Maybe it was that day you felt left out. Everyone had something shiny and you didn't. Or maybe it was growing up, watching money disappear before it could mean anything. Maybe it was just one moment when spending felt like power. And your brain said, let's do that again and again and again. Habits don't start with logic. They start with emotion, with survival, with stories we tell ourselves to feel safe. And I'm not here to erase those stories. I'm here to help you rewrite them, because you're not that kid anymore. You're not the scared version of yourself. You're someone who can choose differently now, and that's powerful. You don't need to fight the habit. You need to understand it like an old friend who's been trying to protect you in the wrong way. It's not evil. It's outdated. And once you see that, you stop being angry at yourself and start being curious. Curious about what else is possible when you're not stuck in the loop. I've made mistakes too. I bought things I didn't need. I've missed chances I should have taken. But I learned to pause, to ask questions, to treat my money like a conversation, not a reaction. And that's what I want for you. Not perfection, just awareness, just enough space between impulse and action to choose something better. So next time you feel that, pull that itch, that little voice saying just this once, I want you to hear me too, saying, or we could do something smarter, not louder, just steadier, like a heartbeat that been waiting to guide you back to peace, back to power, back to the version of you that knows what wealth really means. Here's the trick, and it's not complicated. It's not a spreadsheet or a budget app. It's just one question. Before every financial decision, ask yourself, is this moving me closer to freedom or further away? No wealth, no status, just freedom, because that's what money's really about. The ability to choose without fear. Freedom isn't flashy. It doesn't look like a new car or a fancy dinner. It looks like sleeping well at night, knowing your bills are paid. It looks like saying no to a job you hate because you've got options. It looks like helping someone you love without checking your balance first. And that kind of freedom starts with tiny choices. So next time you're about to spend, pause and ask that question, closer or further. And don't trust the answer. Let it sit. Let it echo, because sometimes the answer surprises you. Sometimes what felt like a treat is actually a trap. And sometimes what felt boring is actually the breakthrough. I've used this question for decades, not just with money, but with time, with energy, with relationships, because everything you spend is an investment, and every investment has a return. And the best returns come from the choices that align with who you want to become, not just what you want, right? Now, so let's make this your new habit. Not a rule, not a punishment, just a pause. A breath, a moment of clarity before the swipe, before the click, before the delay. Because in that moment, you're not just spending, you're shaping your future. And I'll be right there with you every time. At the checkout again, fingers hovering over the button heart, doing that little dance between I want this and I know better. And this time something shifts. You remember the question, not perfectly, not dramatically, just enough to pause in. In that pause, you feel something new, not guilt, not shame, just space. You ask yourself quietly, closer or further. And it's weird how powerful that feels, not because it stops you, but because it gives you a choice. And for the first time in a long time, you feel like you re-choosing, not reacting, not escaping, not proving anything, just choosing. And that feels like freedom. You walk away, maybe with the item, maybe without it, but definitely with something more, with a sense of control, not the fake kind, the real kind. The kind that says, I'm steering this ship now. And I'm there too, not clapping, not cheering, just nodding. Yep, that's how it starts. You don't need to win every time. You just need to notice, to pause, to ask. The more you do it, the easier it gets, like training a muscle, like teaching your brain that you're in charge now. Every time you choose freedom, you build a little more of the life you actually want. So next time you're in that moment, remember, it's not about the money. It's about the story you're telling yourself. You get to change the ending. You get to be the hero, not the spender, not the avoider, the hero. And I'll be right there reminding you that heroes don't always fight. They choose. It starts with money, but it doesn't stay there. Suddenly you're saying no to things that drain you, not just your wallet, but your energy, your time, your peace. You start noticing how some people, some jobs, some routines feel like spending too. And you begin asking the same question, closer or further, and it works there too. You stop saying yes out of guilt. You stop chasing things that don't fit. You stop trying to impress people and even watching. And it's not rebellion. It's clarity. It's the quiet kind of confidence that says, I know what matters to me now. And that changes how you walk, how you talk, how you spend. You start investing not just money, but attention into things that grow. Books that stretch your thinking, people who challenge your comfort habits, that build instead of break. And suddenly your life feels like compound interest, small choices, stacking up into something big, something steady, something real. And people notice, not because you're louder, but because you're lighter. You're not carrying the weight of regret or confusion. You're not stuck in loops. You're moving with intention. And that kind of movement is magnetic. It draws the right people, the right opportunities, the kind that match your news story. So yeah, it started with a question at checkout, but now it's a compass for everything. You are the one holding it, not me, not your past, not your fears, just you. And that's the moment I step back, not because I'm gone, but because you've got this, and I trust you'll keep choosing freedom. Picture this. A year from now, you're sitting somewhere quiet, maybe with a coffee, maybe with someone you love, and you're not stressed about bills or debt or that sinking feeling after a purchase you didn't need. You're just present, calm, proud, not because you made millions, but because you made better choices. You'll look back and see it wasn't one big moment. It was 100 tiny ones. The pauses, the questions, the quiet wins, and you'll realize that's how real change happens. Not with fireworks, but with footsteps. And you'll smile because You know, you earned this peace, one decision at a time. And maybe someone asked you how you did it, how you stopped the cycle, how you found your way. You'll tell them it started with a question, with a voice, with a moment when you chose to listen to something wiser, something quieter, something that felt like truth. You'll say it wasn't magic, it was practice. It was remembering that every dollar is a vote for the life you want. You started voting differently, not perfectly, not always, but enough to shift the tide. And that shift changed everything, not just your bank account, but your confidence, your peace, your story. And I'll be there too, not as a voice you need, but as one. You remember the one that showed up when you were ready to change and whisper, "You've got this," because you did, and you still do. And every time you choose freedom, I'll be smiling right beside you.